So we've all been doing a good job, round of applause, of buying ourselves some time, of keeping our distance, allowing the resources to catch up, buying ourselves some time to let the curve flatten out, reach these peak levels. And now, as we look to the inevitable reemergence back into society, what we want to do is try to start to get more specific, cut through some of the noise with all of the immune-boosting, supportive agents out there, and try to gear it more specific to those that can be specifically helpful to countering and combating this SARS-CoV-2 virus. What we know about it, the structure of the virus, past experience trickling in from this region and that region, saying what worked and what hasn't worked, the pathophysiology, very important. How this virus, how the structures of this virus interact with our body. We've heard a lot about the ACE2 receptors in the body, how it gets into your body and how it interacts and how it can cause some of the destruction and damage from there and perpetuate, which eventually leads to the disease from the SARS-CoV-2 virus, the disease being labeled as COVID-19. Now, there's limited studies as far as what can be supportive so far. We know there's a lot of vitamin C reports in large doses, which we talked on a lot about last week. But there's limited studies as far as some of these other agents right now. However, with knowing what we know about the structure of the virus and knowing what we know, again, about the pathophysiology, we're learning more and more every day, combining that, synthesizing that with what we know about SARS-CoV-1, the original SARS-CoV-1 virus. This is SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-1 from 2002, 2003, 2004 dates, what we know about that virus and what was effective in combating it. What we know about MERS from the past as well, that Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, and also what we know about the coronaviruses. The coronaviruses, there's about 4 of them that circulate on an annual basis, and they estimate that they're responsible for about 25% of the non-flu but still viral colds that we see each year. So those are coronaviruses that are actually already in circulation by the year. We talked about vitamin C, and we talked about why vitamin C can help and why it can potentially be helpful in a reactive way, but also a potentially prophylactic way or protective way. Another agent to look at right here, and it makes sense, and in order to add fuel to the fire of why you might want to add this, it always helps to go into a bit of the pathophysiology. I know I always want to know why we're taking something, what's the theory on why it could make sense, can we connect the dots, and if so, we add it to our plan, both personally and clinically. Hopefully this will help you make the best decision for you and yours as well. Melatonin. Melatonin, we always think about it as that sleep supplement that sends you to sleep, that sleep hormone that sends you to sleep, which is also always a good thing. So any help we can get in going to sleep right now, I'll take it. I'll take it. Lord knows we might be staying up for one reason or another, maybe stressing about this, the actual virus, or stressing about some of the social or financial ramifications from it. A little boost, sending us to sleep temporarily, I'll take it. But why might melatonin be effective in combating this SARS-CoV-2? Why might we want to use it? Well, we talked about this with vitamin C. One of the most lethal and serious things that happens with this virus is how it perpetuates the damage and illness in the respiratory system, your lungs. How this takes place is it leads to something called ARDS. We talked about this in the past as well, ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. Now that is a whole process in the body where inflammation, there's an inflammatory storm, a cytokine storm, inflammation kind of goes wild. This is all initiated with the start of one compound called an inflammasome. This inflammasome, again, we talked about this one, NLPR3. NLPR3 initiates this cytokine storm which can lead to the ARDS and the potential lethality of this SARS-CoV-2. One of the most noted studies way to stop or inhibit this NLPR3 is melatonin. Massive number of animal studies on this where they induce an inflammatory storm in the animals. They induce this inflammatory storm. They supply them with melatonin, and that's one of the most potent and effective ways to stop the inflammatory storm. Suppress it by way of suppressing that NLPR3. More recently, 2016, even as recent as 2020, they've done some studies with melatonin where it shows this is to be the case in humans as well. Melatonin suppressing the NLPR3, suppressing the inflammatory storm, helping protect you from the ARDS, the acute respiratory distress syndrome, that is largely responsible for the need of a lot of these people going to the hospital and needing for ventilators, and a lot of what people are dying from, the ARDS, melatonin, a potentially powerful way to combat that. Could be a potential ad as we try to come up with that corona-specific, that counter-corona crew. Vitamin C, melatonin. We're going to add a couple more to that. If it makes sense to you, take them, use them. As we go back out into society, be proactive with it, or be loading those levels up, just in case that perhaps inevitable exposure does occur. Good luck.